Hi guys, hold on for a second. Before we proceed to the video, I have something very important to tell you. Professor John Vikofas has published his new book in collaboration with Little French Media, and the title of the book is Neoliberalism, Inequality, and Authoritarianism. This book details how neoliberalism impacts the geopolitical economy in the 21st century. You can buy it from Amazon, and the link is in the description. Thank you. Now let's proceed to the video.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is an introduction to a much lengthier analytical video about President Donald Trump's attempt to restructure the American federal bureaucracy under what a number of scholars uh, characterize as a patronage or a clientelist state bureaucracy. The term patronage and clientelism is invariably associated with global south countries, third world countries, and authoritarian countries, by the way, um, including totalitarian regimes of the interwar period. The question, of course, is whether the uh, announcements that have been made by the administration and its various top level officials, including elected officials, congressmen, GOP congressmen, and senators, the goal government efficiency and realizing savings for the taxpayer, or is the goal to create a patronage system loyal to the president, and to the GOP? Let's look at some statistics and take what and we don't have to take at face value what the Trump administration and its officials have said. There are approximately 5.1 million federal employees when you exclude about roughly 700,000 postal workers. The remaining about 2.1, 2.2 million each are divided between the remaining 4.3 million, I should say, are divided between military related individuals and civilians. So really, the civilian bureaucracy um, is roughly about 2.1, 2.2 million, because there are the postal workers and then there are the military personnel. So, so far, so good, because, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because Elon Musk, who financed a large segment of Trump's campaign, and whom Trump has appointed to get rid of 75% of what he believes are redundant federal employees, and to save supposedly 2 trillion from the federal budget, a federal budget being well over 6 trillion, by the way. um, the claim is that, well, we're going to do it um, uh, through these efficiencies. The question is, you have to consider, what do you do with the postal service? You can't eliminate, unless they intend to go the neoliberal route of privatizing the postal service, something they have tried before. By the way, they really tried that in the first Trump, but that went Trump at presidency, that went nowhere, and rightly so. Um, Considering that the cost effectiveness, based on studies that have been done, was just not there, and that the consumer, by the way, the American citizen, would bear the brunt of the burden for the for a privatized postal service. So that's one thing. The other thing is, where is really the money when you consider that the United States government is spending just under 1 trillion in a $28 trillion economy for defense, and that 2.1 million of these federal employees are military personnel. Um, where's the money going? And then when you take the 2.2 million federal employees left over, it's only a small segment of that group that's devoted to social services. The rest, by the way, are really there to cater to Wall Street and to the military industrial complex. Again, the question is, where is the what is the goal here? If you take out these federal bureaucracies, some of them they want to eliminate completely, like the Department of Education, for example. Can at the same time, by the way, that in 2024, Xi Jinping in China announced during the third plenum, these are the 5 year plans that the Communist Party, the one party state in China, has. They're pouring massive amounts of money in education, in science and technology. The US wants to eliminate the Department of Education. Okay. Then they wonder, why is it that China all of a sudden out of the blue announces that it has a cheaper and better artificial intelligence program, uh, namely DeepSeek, and then of course Alibaba also making an announcement like this. They wonder why that is. Okay, considering that the privatized educational system in the United States is higher education system in the United States, of course, and the gutting of the public education system has left the United States behind. This is not China's fault. This is the US policy doing this. And here come this administration with grandiose programs um, about saving 2 trillion out of where? Where is the basis of all this? Is it going to gut the Defense Department? Because half of these people work for defense, by the way. Anything defense related, half of them. Now, the other issue is federal employees, everybody knows, right? Populist rhetoric, are lazy and wasteful. There is no empirical study that this is the case. None. There are studies that the U.S. federal bureaucracy works much more efficiently, by the way, than many other centralized government bureaucracies within the G7. Okay, so this much is known. Now, it is the University of Chicago study, by the way, very thorough, try to be balanced, look at all sides, look at the right wing populist libertarians um, lining behind Trump, argued that much of this is a political position, it's ideological, and and that makes it a matter of perspective, right? Now, when Trump came to office, on January 20th, immediately he ordered the end of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The acronym is DEI, 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 in the federal government, arguing, arguing that we're not going to accept this criteria of these marginalized people because it's not merit based. The question is, of course, contrary to the claims they have made, are they bringing in a merit based system, which has its origins in American history? Those who know American history know this. In the progressive era, going back to the administration of Theodore Roosevelt, that's when the federal bureaucracy became professionalized, merit based bureaucracy. That's when the federal government expanded to reflect the expansion of the private sector during the Industrial Revolution, by the way. The big capital and which necessitated big labor also necessitated big government, by the way. The nature of the capitalist system necessitated the expansion of federal bureaucracies to regulate, because businesses themselves needed to rationalize the capitalist system for the sake of equilibrium in the marketplace and to serve them. If people, those who have studied, some of you may have studied in political science, the nature of what these bureaucracies do, they actually serve, like I said, for the most part, they serve the private sector free of charge. Okay? They're there to buttress the private sector, to facilitate the private sector. In any case, the impression, of course, that this administration has given is that they're there to provide for gays, lesbians, blacks and Hispanics, migrants, and so forth, which is utter nonsense, by the way, not empirically based. There is no empirical evidence other than a small segment of the federal bureaucracy, uh, which does deal with the social safety net aspect of society. Okay. The rest is catering to Wall Street and to the military industrial complex. Okay. Now, the uh, Trump administration um, wanted, suggested, in fact, the president himself in, I think, in North Carolina, South Carolina, eliminating the Federal Emergency Management Agency. FEMA is the, and this is against the background of the fires out in Los Angeles, out in California. Then, after the airplane accident at Reagan National Airport, the airport in Washington, D.C., after that tragic accident where people died, he sent out an email to air traffic controllers and federal aviation officials that they should get out of this low level, unproductive work they were doing and go find productive labor, productive work in the private sector. And just as he sent out that email, there was another accident in Philadelphia, by the way, involving another plane, private plane. You have an ideologically driven populist administration that believes by magic, if you fire these professionals, and by the way, the union representative of the air traffic controllers said, look, we have professionals here with years of experience doing very important work. All right. You can't deregulate air traffic. There would be chaos in the sky. You can't privatize it. Um, it would raise cost, and we have no idea about the efficiency either. But these are the sorts of ideas that have been floated. The administration has also sent out emails to federal employees: start looking for work, get out, including health agencies whose meetings the administration ordered canceled, by the way. These are healthcare professionals, scientists. So, what we have here is a blanket policy based on neoliberal ideology to weaken the bureaucracy, reshape it into a patronage system as though the United States is a global South country. It's some country, and I won't use Trump's characteristics of these countries, but it's some country in the global South, in Latin America, or in Africa, or in South Asia, and to place the safety and security and the health of the American people in jeopardy here, because air traffic and health are issues that impact the safety and health of the American people. This is part of a neoliberal class warfare. I invite you to take a look at the lengthier video, the analytical video that I have prepared, and this is going to go into many aspects into the history of why the federal bureaucracy is merit-based, professionalized, as non-political as possible. It's everything is political, of course, but as non-political as possible. How the federal bureaucracy serves the privileged elite in American society, serves Wall Street primarily in the military industrial complex, serves them above all. And then there's a segment of it which serves the rest of society, including social welfare programs. No doubt about it. Nothing wrong with school lunch programs serving children who don't have enough to eat at home, by the way. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing immoral about that. In any case, I ask you to also join this channel, this YouTube channel that my very good friend Asad Alim manages, and to write comments and observations. Thank you very much.